Okay, excuse me. So let's kick things off. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time zone you're in. Doug Mapkishima here, back and forth between Dubai and California. I'm currently in California, so it's very early in the morning here. We have a special guest in our Mobile Evolution Interest Group today, Eddie DeCurtis from SUSH. I'm going to go through some updates first, and then we'll hear from Eddie about an exciting new announcement. So once again, you are here in the Mobile Evolution Interest Group. We have both an interest group and a working group. We haven't had an interest group meeting in quite some time, so we have a lot of updates for everyone here. Just as a reminder, what the Mobile Evolution Working Group is covering in terms of scope. We are focusing on new communication standards, network as a service APIs, edge computing, and open standards. Primarily, our focus has been on the new generation of network or telco APIs, but we do cover other topics, and Eddie's announcement relates to Mobile Evolution in general, but also has an API component to it as well. And I'm pretty excited here to give you guys all an update since it's been quite a while. So our agenda will be covering, first of all, the working group activities and events update. And then, as I mentioned, Eddie will cover SUSH's announcement, and a small presentation, I think, Eddie, about your Sherlock platform now supporting TS43 compliant silent authentication via EAP AKA. That's a mouthful, but Eddie will cover it and give us the insights in terms of how this is a very valuable in moving forward evolution in telco standard security, authentication, and APIs. So first, let me cover some media coverage. So at the beginning of the year, actually end of last year, we made a concerted effort to get ramp up our communications, our outbound communications, to help educate the community and the market, the ecosystem at large, about what's going on in mobile evolution, what are these telco APIs, and the impact on the industry, and certainly, of course, the road to monetization, and also helping telcos transform from telcos to techcos. So the last few months, we've had a pretty good media and press coverage as a result of this outreach. We developed a white paper that we turned into an article, and thanks to Gen AI, we're able to make a number of different versions of that article and place it in different publications. You can see the links here. I'll send this out afterwards, so you have the links. There are actually a few more that I didn't have time to add. The other thing I'll be doing is a lot of these articles and podcasts, webinars that we've done here in Mobile Evolution, as well as the many events where we've had panels and keynotes. They're distributed across our MEF website in various areas, and I'm going to consolidate them all under the Mobile Evolution Working Group number space. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe in a few weeks' time, I'll send out a link to everybody, and you'll see all of the resources, the past events, the past webinars, articles, and then as the working group starts cranking out actual white papers and best practices, as well as case studies, you'll find them all there as well. So anyway, yeah, it was a good few months of external press coverage and media coverage. So let's go backwards to January for activities. We had a webinar focusing on network APIs. We had Bridge Alliance and GSMA, as well as Infobip, SUSH, and Verizon, representing the pretty good cross-section of the industries. And this was really a follow-up from the one almost the same time the year before, kind of a 1 year later, to see how APIs have evolved and what are some of the new innovations, and what kind of also a preview for Mobile Congress Barcelona. Actually, before that, of course, Vegas in 24, the MEF Connects. We had a similar panel. Actually, I have the names here wrong, but you can see it in the graphic who participated in that. Okay, looks like I have a duplicate slide here. Sorry. Okay, so then in in Barcelona at Mobile Congress for the MEF Global Forum and Future of Mobile. We had an API panel at the Global Forum with Bix, Comviva, Infobip, Sush, and the new Ericsson JV, which was at that point in time newly named Aduna. And then at Future Mobile, we had Sush do a keynote session, our very own Eddie Curtis here, on network authentication and NAS, fact or fiction. This was, I don't want to say too controversial, but certainly an education and primer on what's really going on in the internals and how telcos can much more rapidly and easily and with much less cost roll out these APIs. So if you have a chance, that on demand is available. Definitely recommend checking out that. And then Eddie and I sat down and had a fireside chat about that topic as well. On a really interesting note, so all these telco APIs tend to be kind of behind the scenes and not very much in the major headlines in the press, and certainly not on very large enterprises mentioning them. But we had a keynote as well at Future Mobile from TikTok, from Isaac Bess, who's a global head of distribution, and talked about mobile evolution in general, but a number of topics came up about how they use APIs, notably age verification. So that's something where these quite technical, I would say granular level APIs in some cases are starting to reach through and touch consumers through extremely popular apps and such as social media platforms like TikTok. Then, of course, in Barcelona, we had our MEFIs, and happy to report that again, our very own Eddie De Curtis and Sush won the inaugural mobile evolution category. So this is the first year mobile evolution was a category in MEFIs, and Sush won the award for that. So congrats, Eddie. And more recently, at the MEF Leadership Forum Americas, we had a keynote from Aduna CEO Anthony Bartolo, and he provided insights into evolving role of APIs in telecom industry, how that's shaping the future of innovation and connectivity. But really, this was America, so focused more on the American, both North and South American continents and the region here where I'm currently speaking from. So we also had an API and open gateway panel with some of the usual suspects. Dario this time leading and moderating. We had Secura, we had Infobip, Sush again, TNTID, and Vonage. So I think from here, maybe Eddie, I think we can go to your presentation if you're ready.
Yeah. Excellent. Actually, I am. Hold on one second. Let me see my slides. Can you guys see my slides? Doug, can you see my slides?
Just a second. Yes, I can see it.
Okay. I hope everybody else can see my slides. Good morning, good afternoon, hello, everybody. So we're really, really excited about this. This was something in the works. If anybody doesn't know, TS43 silent authentication via EAPA AKA is truly the holy grail of mobile authentication. It's been in the works for years, people trying to figure it, trying to make this work. If everybody remembers, for years, the SIM cards, both on iOS and Android, were ring fenced when you were off the mobile network, which was causing issues when you try to do authentication of the third party application because there was no way to PS that SIM card. Well, TS43 revision 11 allows for third party applications. So we have full support for TS43 now. It's ubiquitous. We like to say it's seamless, silent, secure, and now ubiquitous over Wi-Fi, cellular networks, apps, browsers. satellite, fixed wireless access. So this truly is the holy grail. So this is using the SIM card to actually authenticate a third party application. So banking, fintech, any application can use TS43 to authenticate. Now, there is still work that would need to be done on the application side to take advantage of the TS43 client that's already built inside the OS. I think Apple calls it Acme and Android calls it TS43, but there is a client built into the OS that allows for the authentication. And now that TS43 revision 11 supports the new application IDs. Any questions on this? So TS43 is a GSMA specification. We are 100% following the specification, right? That network operators can securely manage device enablement and SIM-based authentication. It was originally designed for voice over Wi-Fi and VoLTE, right? We allow the MNOs to validate via the device entitlement gateway, utilizing the SIM. So over time, in multiple iterations, they came out with certain application IDs, and I'll show you the different application IDs. But application ID 2015 is allowing, it was extended to allow for third-party authentication, right? So TS43 exists on the vast majority of Android and iOS devices. So if the Android device supports voice over Wi-Fi, SMS IP. So in other words, if you can go home and connect to your Wi-Fi network, there's a TS43 client on your phone. Okay. So TS43 defines several application IDs, right? So TS43 revision 11 put in 2015, which is app authentication for third-party apps. And AP2 2016 is satellite now. So everybody's been talking direct to satellite. But as you can see, it started at 2003, which was voice over cellular. Then it added voice over Wi-Fi, SMS over IP. And it started adding the different entitlements. And then eventually got to application ID 2015. So that is that we utilize the true standard to allow for this, and it's seamless. So if the network or I should say if the application wants to use TS43, they can. If it's not available, or which it will always be available, but in the event that it's not available, it can go back to Chimera. It can work seamlessly integrated with all the Chimera APIs, so SIM swap, etc. So it becomes a holistic solution for both the brands and for the mobile network operator to take complete advantage of it. The issue today is currently there is no way for the carriers that are on revision 11 to monetize this, and Sherlock allows them to monetize it because there's a party that we all know that is currently potentially utilizing this for authentication, and they're not supposed to be. So, and then finally, basically without such, the MNO would need to update the entitlement server to release 11. We don't require the carrier to do any upgrades on their entitlement server. We have revision tested this all the way back to a very early version of the entitlement server, and it still works because of the way we have implemented it following the standards. Because authentication is not an entitlement, where VoLTE is an entitlement. Authentication is a static request going into the entitlement server. However, we don't need the entitlement server to be on release 11 for this to work. And this platform still will allow the mobile network operators to monetize this entitlement or this request coming in from any channel. If you're trying to activate RCS or you're trying to activate VoLTE and going around the entitlement, this will stop that and allow for the mobile network operators to actually monetize for this service. There's an example of a mobile network operator that I was speaking to a couple of weeks ago who literally said they were expecting 450,000 entitlement requests for the specific application, and they got 2.5 million. In other words, something is sneaking through the network to actually do authentication, and they're not supposed to be. So with that, we are super excited about this because this actually circles the square and gives the mobile network operator and the brands multiple ways to authenticate, and the aggregators multiple ways to sit within the ecosystem. The aggregators are still in the ecosystem. The brands are still in the ecosystem. The carriers are still in the ecosystem, monetizing it. There is no other. By utilizing Sherlock, they get the best of all worlds, and that's what we're offering. It's available today, as well as the 6 certified Camara network authentication APIs and the 37 additional APIs we layer on top of that, all within the Sherlock authentication and the Sherlock platform in general. And that's all, and that's what I can share today.
That's great, Eddie. Congratulations again. And I understand
Thank
you have full support of GSMA and other standards organizations, SDOs. You cited that, of course, in your presentation. Can you give us maybe some use cases, real-world use cases, how this is going to make things a lot easier in authentication, and also, all importantly, the revenue piece of it, how we can monetize?
So when you are on an airplane and you want to log into your banking app, right? You're on Wi-Fi. You're home. You want to authenticate. You're on Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. The only way to work on the Wi-Fi currently today is to kick you off the Wi-Fi network, put you back on the mobile network, do the authentication, and then, or of course, you can do OTP. But if you were to move into network APIs, because it doesn't work off, from the SIM. This works regardless of what network you're on. Here's another use case. A lot of mobile network operators out there did fixed wireless access, right, Doug? So they went out and they put CPEs in everybody's home. T-Mobile has it. There's operators all over the world, right? Great coverage using LTE or 5G to the home, right? Over the air. Well, what happens is you cannot authenticate the browser behind that. Now you can, because you're authenticating against a SIM card that's sitting in that CPE. So, so everything you can do, similar to if you're on your mobile device and your mobile device is on Wi-Fi, you're authenticating from the SIM card. So there's a million use cases. It's like I said, it's the holy grail. If you had the opportunity to see the webcast I did with Henry Calvert from the GSMA, he was over the, well, I don't want to speak for him, but a little over the moon, because it works on any network. Now it's full authentication from the SIM. Just like when you turn on your phone. When you turn on your phone authenticates you, right? There's nothing special. The phone just works. You don't have to put a code in or anything. The phone just turns on. Same thing here. When you authenticate, when you launch your app will, or banking, fintech, whatever, will authenticate you. The beauty about TS43 EAPA, AKA, there's more and more features that you can eventually do. You could do, SIM swap and other options that are also within the Camara API, the Camara ecosystem. So it works in conjunction with Camara, with the other APIs that have been developed that are not so-called Camara certified, right? Or within that whole Camara list, right? So that's the beauty. It works in conjunction with all that.
That makes sense. So basically, now we can really call them network APIs or network as a service, not just telco, because obviously Wi-Fi is your home network. It might be provided by the telco or some other ISP, and maybe not. But
exactly.
It seems to me it's very similar to, remember back in the day when VoLTE was first launching and Wi-Fi calling was just coming out. And this IR51 was how you would support secure, basically VoLTE over Wi-Fi to the telco, right? So
Yeah, it takes it to the next levels where, it really, it puts the GSMA, it's using a GSMA standard, right? So the GSMA truly is the leader and in this, because we're using a standard that they have implemented and required. So we follow that standard, and it's very, very important for, Doug, me, I'm a firm believer in it being a standards guide. Follow the standards, right? I don't like going outside the standards. I don't, because they work. There's very, very smart individuals at the GSMA and at some of the network operators that contributed to the TS-43 standard that truly should be recognized as because we just take advantage of the hard work they did, and it
Sure,
allows
sure,
it,
sure.
it benefits the industry. It benefits the industry. It gives them a more secure way. EAPK, aka, has always been the holy grail. Now the ability to do it for third party use cases is or third party applications, just it just circle, like I said, circles the square. Firebase has been talking about it. That's what they want. This is the way of the future, and it's just going to get better. It's just going to get
Yeah,
better.
I mean, of of course, I'm in 100% alignment with you on standards. I mean, this whole mobile evolution working group, interest group, is all about how new communication standards are evolving mobile networks and the mobile ecosystem. And of course, our focus lately has been on APIs,
Hmm.
because that's Open Gateway and Chimera and TM Forum APIs. But standards are one thing, but then again, commercialization, implementation and rollout is another. And very
Yeah,
happy to see you are basically implementing and rolling out and commercializing it and creating
exactly.
new monetization opportunities to power real world use cases. I mean, I
Hmm.
think that's the key. Standards for the sake of standards is not so interesting. But hey, maybe I see that Mark from GSMA is actually on the call.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe if he has some comments here, we can,
No,
hopefully he can join us. So, oh, here you
I
are.
think
Hey, Mark, welcome.
great. Yeah, hi. Just no, great to see that Shush and Sherlock have implemented this. It's what we need to see. I think TS-43 is, I don't know, maybe not the golden bullet, but it's definitely key.
Don't toss out my balloon.
That's not. No, it's a good balloon. That's a good balloon. So I think it is key. We need to see and we need to push all the operating systems to make it available and make it available to all the use cases, not
Hmm.
just limit things and not just, not to keep the walled garden.
Yeah, exactly, and I agree, and that's why the way we have implemented it, Doug, it allows the carrier not it doesn't require the carrier to upgrade their entitlement server, right? Because it gets very, very expensive to do that. So um because of the way the standard, because of the way the functioning, I should say, of the network, it allows us to do it in a way that doesn't require the upgrade. um it also, what's really it starts to get really, really cool in different, different use cases to allow for this, third party applications to like truly authenticate with consent in, automatically, right? And it's a very, very cool way to actually to do all this. And like Mark said, it might not be the full golden bullet, and we could expand it to other use cases like a SIM swap, like direct billing, because there's other application IDs, et cetera. So it's but the big thing is the ability to monetize it, right? Right now,
Yes.
there is no way for the carrier to monetize it. So somebody, and I won't say who, somebody can go into the network like they would be doing any other entitlement, tag it with a different application ID, and allow them to authenticate off a off-server authentication platform. That is should not be allowed. This should be blocked. It should not. They should not be allowed to do that. But it's happening today, and the carriers have no way of monetizing it. Well, the beauty about if you people read the specification specifically states that not only do you have to provide the application ID, you have to provide information about the application. Well, since we're the monetization platform and all that information is in there, so every time a message comes in, let's say hypothetically Bank of Eddie, we know it's coming from Bank of Eddie. And since they have been invited and approved and vetted, they sit within the quote unquote customer relation management platform. And I say, oh, here's a TS43 message coming from Eddie. Check. That means, there's a billing event there. There's a billing event there. And that is the monetization piece, which is so important because this could be, tenfold amount of traffic coming in for authentication through TS43 that the carriers, all they'll see is the traffic, they will never see the money. Well, this way they, and anybody going through it that's not verified, it gets blocked. And if they're verified, they have to pay for it. And that's what it comes down to. Making sure the carriers can monetize their network assets, monetize the hard work they put into their system. But we took it a step further and said, okay, we're going to make this super easy and not require them to do any type of upgrades on their network, et cetera, to make this all work. I got really good engineers.
Well, it's exciting stuff, Eddie. I appreciate it. And once again, congratulations on your rapid progress here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There's a lot of people that have made this possible, both people inside the organization and people like Mark and the GSMA and the MEF and others that truly have been very supportive. So there's a lot of thank yous to go around, and we haven't forgotten that.
Great. Well, I think then we are drawing to a close here.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody for participating. It was a brief session this time, but thanks again to Eddie, our guest speaker, with that exciting news and update. And as you can see, the working group has been busy with a lot of events, a lot of media outreach and education, and broadcasting the message to help spread the word in the ecosystem. As usual, I encourage people, members from the other working groups to join our working group. It's not just the interest groups in these events. We're trying to develop case studies and best practices and other important initiatives going on within the Mobile Evolution Working Group. So be on the lookout for the meetings, which are roughly once a month. We haven't really been able to maintain that pace lately, but we're going to try to get back on track. And you can either look for these meeting updates on the events page, or you can drop me a note directly, and I'll make sure you get added to the invite list. Okay, great. So with that, we'll conclude this session of the Mobile Evolution Interest Group. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you for putting this together. Be well.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
All right. Hey, later, Mom. Bye. Bye, Beatrice.